Tamaa ikizidi, mauti yafuata. That is a saying from the Swahili community. Loosely translated, it is saying, when greed increases, corpses follow. Now, there are many of us who may think that the Swahili elders were not that wise. At least they were not as wise as those we prefer to follow in the Western world. Well, this particular saying should prove to anybody, beyond any reasonable doubt, that in fact they were very wise. That in fact, in Kenya today, we may be experiencing, and we are soon to experience even more clearly, that tamaa ikizidi, mauti yafuata. Now those Swahili elders who came out with these words of wisdom did not go to school. And so definitely, they did not have a PhD. Okay? And of course, everybody in Kenya right now is talking about the recent outburst by President William Ruto, where he reminded Kenyans that he has a PhD. And these Kenyans who are criticizing him and his regime and his policies, he does not know what schools they went to. And therefore, they can tell him nothing. They can teach him nothing. People are talking about that outburst all over the world. Kenyans in every corner of the globe are still reeling in shock at that statement. Well, I know a few people who are not shocked, including a member of this channel, ambaye ni daktari wa akili, psychologist. And I'm afraid I will have to leave it to you to figure out why she is not surprised. I can give you a hint. It is because of something she has been saying for a very long time. Okay? We, Kumekucha Chris, uko na PhD? Hapana, sina. Kwa hivyo nyamaza. Hakuna kitu naweza ambia serikali ya UDA. Nyamaza kimya. Folks, that is the very clear message. Now, I'm very much aware of the fact that if somebody is giving you issues, problems, anakusumbua hapa na pale, the quickest way of shutting them up, if you know they did not go to school, is to ask them, did you go to school? Na ulifika wapi? You know, not too long ago, actually quite recently, I attended a meeting for parents and teachers at the school of my children. And they wanted us to elect one of the parents into a position of responsibility, to smoothen the running of the school. And one very prospective candidate, a lady who had already shown a lot of initiative in doing the job that needed to be done, was just about to be elected unanimously. And then the school manager said, hold on a minute. There are qualifications for this particular post. A candidate must have completed their Form 4. Now, what happened next made me very sad and angered me into talking. What is this that happened? The lady, the poor lady, shrank and shrank, and she wanted the ground to swallow her. And she looked so sad. She looked so beaten, so defeated. And she said in almost a whisper, mimi sikumaliza Form 4. And I stood up and I said, excuse me, this is not fair. Mwalimu, isn't there a way we can get around this ridiculous qualification? Because the candidate has already displayed very clearly to all of us that she can do the job. The fact that she did not complete her Form 4, notwithstanding. And therefore I propose that we remove that requirement, that you talk to your people at the Ministry of Education and anybody else you need to talk to, and tell them that we, the parents of this school, we have decided it is her. Irreducible minimum. And if it is not her, it will not be anybody else. You can imagine the overwhelming support I received from the other parents. And this story ends very well because she got the job and she's still doing it as we speak. A woman of character, a woman who is determined, a woman who has already beaten so many odds in her life, because stuff happens in our life. Nobody chooses not to finish school, but circumstances conspire and you find yourself in a situation where you did not go to school. Does that mean that is the end of your life? No! Not at all. Indeed, many who have found themselves with this handicap have overcompensated in self-education, in putting their mind to something, and they have done great things. And this has happened all through history. I can give you so many names of people who found themselves in this situation but overcompensated in self-learning, overcompensated in putting in the long hours to be better, to do better. Yeah? And even without the papers today, they are very qualified. I can give you very many names, starting from many centuries ago, to prove that point. But now we have been told in Kenya that if you don't have a PhD, shut up. Okay? Even you, Kumekucha Chris, you don't have a PhD. Shut up. And as we continue to make spirited efforts to do exactly that, to shut up, things in our country continue to go south. Projects and policies by the PhD holder continue to take Kenya down a very deep hole. Folks, as a country, we are in serious trouble under the PhD holder. You know, there is yet another Swahili saying that goes as follows: asiyefunzwa na mamake ufunzwa na dunia. The person who is not taught manners, discipline by the mother, the world will teach him. And so this past week, the government, which cannot be taught by non-PhD holders, was taught a lesson by the world. Virtually all universities were out protesting. They had not received money, capitation, from the government. And you will remember that the PhD holders had come up with a new funding model for the universities. Guess what happened? It was trashed. In fact, one of the headlines in a local daily put it very well. They said the government makes a U-turn. And it seems that the government has gone back to the old model, the old way of financing universities. And money was released and the protests stopped. And some semblance of normalcy returned to the universities. Now somebody was telling me yesterday, somebody must have advised the PhD holders, if these universities are allowed to continue protesting and they join together, they're all in communication, it will be a protest that you cannot stop. it will be maandamano that will remove you from power. And therefore, you have a very simple choice. You move with speed and you stop this, or you allow it to continue and suffer the consequences. And we now know the government moved with speed and the funds were released. And there are many other examples where the world has taught the PhD holders, where the rest of us who do not have these papers have not taught this government. They are done deals. You remember that? The world, to be more specific, the Justice Department in the United States of America, stepped in and told them, and you know what happened? And the latest is that donor funds in the country have very suddenly, too suddenly, just dried up. Now, you know these donor funds, a very small percentage reaches the people on the ground. Hii kitu inakulwa na wakubwa, okay? PhD holders. But then now, circumstances have conspired to tell them, that's enough. That is enough. Kwisha maneno. From now, going forward, hii biashara imeisha. Okay? But then, we know many people never learn. And especially people with PhDs. What more can they learn? See, they have learned everything. Huh? What else can you teach them? And so we should expect much more drama in the days to come, where the PhD holders will be taught a lesson, watafunzwa adabu na dunia. And of course the biggest disease remains. Tamaa ikizidi, mauti yafuata. Now, you'd better not miss the latest weekly intelligence briefings, number 125, which will be in your inbox shortly. And I'm afraid I cannot talk too much about it, because it is highly sensitive. Hey! But I can give you a hint, okay? The latest revelations by Bob Njagi about somebody he saw when he was in captivity, reveals a few things that are mind-blowing. When you join the dots, there is 1, 2, 3 that is mind-blowing. Don't miss it in my latest weekly intelligence briefings. Now you can see details on your screen. In case you're not yet a member, or maybe your membership has expired, you can see details on your screens right now on what to do. For only Kenya shillings 19.99, you can get a full year subscription. And this is a very reduced rate, because the usual rate is Kenya shillings 5,999 for a full year subscription. So please act fast. And of course, we very much welcome brand new members. My mini special report on the General Gola Manenos is also still available. Now, this is all the sensitive information in the longer special report released earlier, all squeezed into 4 or 5 minutes. Okay? You can take it in and be shocked. And the cost is very, very pocket friendly in these hard times. Only Kenya shillings 499 only. You can see details on your screens right now. Please move with speed if you're interested. And of course you can get both for only 2,498. Please go for it if you're in a position to, because it also supports the work we do here on this channel, all for a better Kenya. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.